Do you experience stress at McKinsey, BCG, or Bain? Of course you do. It's an extremely stressful job. It's like riding an emotional roller coaster every day. One moment you feel like a superstar for scoring an incredible win, only to feel terrible for making a silly mistake just minutes later. The intensity of stress is off the charts. At times it can feel unbearable. And if you don't manage it proactively, it will wear you out very quickly. You damage your physical and mental health. In this video, I'll share 10 practical tips and tricks on how I manage my stress while working at McKinsey for 9 years. I reflect on what worked and what I wish someone had told me on day one. Stay tuned, the last 3 tips help me to deal with the worst stress I ever experienced. But before we go any deeper, let me introduce myself. I am Rustem Karimov, a former associate partner at McKinsey. I joined the firm at 34 as an experienced hire, and I worked there for 9 years. Now I coach MBB consultants who want to achieve high performance. And if you want personalized coaching support, book a free one-on-one consultation call. We will discuss your current challenges, pain points, and ambitions. It's a no-commitment call. You can ask me any questions you have. The link in the description below. Book it now. You know, when I joined McKinsey, I didn't take stress too seriously. I thought that only weak people talked about stress as an excuse for not doing their job. I know, I was so naive. In fact, my first year at McKinsey was absolutely terrible. I was so busy surviving that I didn't even register what was happening to me. Only later did I realize that I experienced unhealthy doses of stress. And I didn't do anything to manage it. The stress only kept growing and intensifying. Then I went to a firm training in Kitzbühel, Austria. That was the first time I met my peers with the same tenure. Around 50 consultants from different offices attended the training for a week. And I realized that I was not alone in struggling with my stress and anxiety. I could see I was probably not the worst one in that group. That gave me a little bit of a consolation and also gave me a little bit of perspective. That was the first time I could really calibrate myself. And my biggest insight was that my natural stress coping mechanisms couldn't deal with that stress anymore. I had to come up with better, more effective tools. That's when I started my battle with my own stress. But let me be clear, I don't want to pretend I'm an expert in stress management. I just want to share my personal journey and experience to show you that stress is a normal thing. Everyone experiences that. And you must learn to manage it well, to make this job more sustainable and even a little bit more enjoyable. And here are my 10 tips and tricks that I want to share with you. Let's start with an obvious but very important one. Learn to work well. Please understand this. Your performance is the foundation of everything you do. If you fail at your job, if you make silly mistakes, no amount of sophisticated stress management will help you. Not at McKinsey, BCG, or Bain. This firm will expose you. They will apply so much pressure on you. Any sane person won't be able to withstand that pressure without being intact. So the best lever you can apply to reduce your stress is to improve your performance and upgrade your consulting toolkit, specifically problem solving. Because problem solving is at the core of everything we do in consulting. And don't buy that BS talk that it takes years to get good. With the right systems, you can go from chaos to competence in weeks, not in months. And consulting is a skill. You can learn it very fast. Another thing that really helped me realizing that not everything is about me. Let me be blunt with you. Most of your partner's reactions aren't about you. Yes, they can be stressed, anxious, and sometimes just be jerks and assholes. But please stop internalizing every comment, every smirk, or every eye roll as a referendum on your worth. Let me even add this. If you are a new consultant, your ability to upset partners is very low. They are battle-hardened, thick-skinned operators. If they are upset, most likely it's something else happening. You could be just a collateral damage here. Another important mind shift for me was letting things go. I remember one senior partner recommended this book for me, Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David Hawkins. This book helped me a lot. But there are multiple books with the same message. For example, there is another popular book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. It was timely advice for me because at that time I treated everything as my personal mission. It's good for exerting ownership, but quite exhausting for your mental health. It's just not too practical and effective to stress out about every small thing that happens to you. Yes, sometimes you make embarrassing mistakes. Yes, you beat yourself up for making them, but you don't have to dwell on it again and again. You don't have to care about absolutely everything. It's critical that you learn to let it go out of your system and stop poisoning your mind. And I have to say, it is very hard to do. You'll need to practice a lot. What really helped me was to ask myself a question about what I can and cannot control. If I can control things, I would worry about them. If I can't control them, I try to let them go. It's not about lack of care, it's about focus and priorities. Let me pause here. If you are an MBB consultant and you are tired of struggling with development and performance, and you need personalized coaching support, book a free one-on-one consultation call. We will discuss your unique situation and find out if my coaching program is a good fit for you. It's a no-commitment call. The link in the description below. Book it now. Here's another quite impactful tip. Avoid working with toxic people. Yes, toxic people exist even in top firms. When you can avoid working with them, it's not a weakness, it's a smart survival skill. Unfortunately, early in your career, you won't be able to do that. But later, you will have more options. It's actually your performance that will dictate how much flexibility you will have. If you are in high demand, you have more staffing options, and you will be able to choose with whom you want to work. In your staffing decisions, try to prioritize people over other factors like project topics, industries, functions, and geographies. It's the best way to make consulting more sustainable for you in the long term. When thinking about saying yes to toxic teams, consider other costs you may incur, including high stress. The next tip is to use meditation to manage stress. Meditation was the most effective tool for managing stress for me. I have to admit, I didn't use it all the time, but in most difficult and stressful situations, I always resorted to meditation to stay calm and sane. 10 minutes a day helped me shift from drowning to breathing again. One specific thing helped me a lot, using an app called Headspace. I like that it has this educational element. It explained to me how my emotions work, how to regulate them without suppressing. I learned micro practices to deal with my stress. For example, when something stressful happens, I direct my attention to observing myself in the moment. Observe how stress wave goes through my body, how adrenaline rushes through my bloodstream. This way, I become an observer, not a reactive actor in the situation. In 30-60 seconds, the most intense waves goes away, and I can think rationally again. Okay, before we continue, let me ask you a favor. If you find my videos helpful, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me to share this video with more people. Every week, I share practical strategies to help you become a high-performing and confident consultant. And don't forget to like and comment as well. So let's continue. Another powerful tool was journaling. I wrote my thoughts in my Moleskine notebook, and it helped me to clear my mind, calm down, and create clarity. Again, the same thing as with meditation. I didn't do it every day. I did it only in the moment of high stress and frustration. It always helps me. Even these days, I use it quite often. Number 7 is my favorite one. It's creating an internal support in my mind. I created this alter ego, an inner supporter to counterbalance the inner critic. We all have this nasty character in our minds, an inner critic who knows all about our past failures. And that critic is also sadistic. It likes to torture you for no obvious reasons. It randomly remembers all of your failures that you have done 5-10 years ago. Often, it is the main source of your stress. So I decided to push back that inner critic. I created an inner supporter, someone who collects and remembers all of my wins and achievements. And at difficult times, I call that supporter for help, and he reminds me that I am not stupid, and I had some pretty impressive wins I should be proud of. And it helps. It calms me down, it helps me think clearly, but don't tell it to others. It may sound too braggy or too weird, but it works well, and that's what matters. At some point, I accidentally discovered Stoic philosophy. It really helped me to create the right framework of how to think about my hardships and challenges. Apparently, they are not unfortunate things that happen to me. They are a necessary part of our lives to forge us as better humans. This way, I got rid of this victim mentality, and I took full ownership of the things that were happening to me. The best thing you can read on this topic is the Meditations book by the famous Roman emperor Marcus Aurelius. He was depicted in the first Gladiator movie as an emperor who supported Maximus. I remember watching videos on Stoicism every morning on YouTube preparing for my work, and I imagined myself like a gladiator preparing for corporate wars. Number 9 is sport. It's not a super effective way to deal with stress, and I did many different sports. The best way to deal with stress is through cyclical sports, like running, swimming, and cycling. Why? If you think about it, it's also some kind of meditation. When you swim, bike, or run, you clear your mind. At peak of my stress when I was an AP, I even trained for triathlons. I also realized that combat sports are also super effective. I really liked Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So when you fight someone, all your aggression is released. And when someone is trying to choke you out, all your problem at the job seems too small. But with sports, unfortunately, they're all time consuming. It's not always that you can sustain that in consulting. So when working on intense projects, I just did some high intensity exercises in the morning. For example, 10-15 minutes of burpees and jumping jacks were perfect for that. That gave me a good release of stress as well. And the final advice is to use therapy. I personally resisted therapy for years. I thought it meant I was weak. But now I see it as a strength move. Your mind deserves the same care you give to your body. This is especially important if you're going through a tough period. Don't fight it alone. Find a professional to help you. Okay, that was my list of stress coping tips and tricks. One thing I realized while working at McKinsey: stress will never go away. It will actually only grow and intensify. The more senior you become, the more stress you'll experience. And when you see super chill partners around you, know that it's not because they don't have any stress. It's just they learn to manage it well. And if you don't find effective ways to do that yourself, you'll most likely burn out very quickly and damage your physical and mental health. So if you are an MBB consultant and this hits home, book a free one-on-one consultation call. We'll talk about your situation and see if my coaching program is a good fit for you. The link in the description below, book it now. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. See you next time.